Hi, and welcome to customer service. My name is Rod Scott, and I'm an employment specialist at Next Steps Employment Center, probably not far from where you live. So this is going to be a great day. So we want to talk about customer service. You know what? The truth is, I can't think of a job that doesn't need to continue to think about delivering great customer service skills. Because when you and I are working, we're working with both internal and external clients, providing a variety of services. Perhaps we're working in sales, we're working in a labor position. I can't think of a job that doesn't require some really great skills dealing with each other and external clients. So I want to share some great little tips and some strategies and some skills that you and I need to think about because it's only going to assist as we continue looking for work. And during the interviews and when they ask us about strengths and some of the skills that we bring to the position, these are some things that you can certainly share. Okay, so before we talk a little bit about that, let's talk a little bit about this platform. So as you know, we're using the Zoom platform, a very, very common learning area. And one of the nice things about this kind of session is that you can stop and put me on pause at any given time, and I'm not going to take any offense because I want you to capture some notes. I want you to grab maybe some of the things that, jump off the pages or the slides at you over the next short while. So as you can see down towards the bottom of your display, you have an opportunity to put me on pause at any given time. You can make some notes, and then you can continue with the resume button. So that's something that this platform certainly offers and something that I want you to take advantage of. With that in mind, grab some scrap paper if you would. And as we move along, if there's something that you want to make notes of, or if you want to rewind a little bit, it's okay. I want you to really take advantage of this platform. Make some notes because I think there's really some great content that we want to talk about. Let's talk about some of the topics that I'd like to share with you today. So we're going to start to talk about why, again, is customer service so important. And I've alluded to that already, but I want to expand a little bit because I think we can agree that, thinking about specific skills related to customer service is something that you and I want to be mindful all the time. With that in mind, I want to share at least top 10 customer service skills that you and I can think about. It's going to apply to any job. I can't think of a job that doesn't require all of these skills that I want to share and discuss with you very quickly over the next short while. So again, that's something that we want to take a look at. After we finish sharing some of these great skills, then we want to talk about next steps. And as part of that, there's a little bit of a reflection activity that I'm going to ask you to help me out with. And then beyond that, we're going to talk a little bit about your feedback is very, very important because it is. We want to send you a little link that's going to provide you with an opportunity to take some time to reflect on the material and to tell us what you thought about the session today. In addition to that, we're dying to hear what are some other topics, sessions, either live or in this kind of format, would be very beneficial to you. So we want to hear from you. We want you to continue talking to your professionals at your local Next Steps Employment Center. That could be your employment advisor, your job developer, your employment specialist, anybody that you're connected with right now. We want you to stay engaged. We're here to help you. And again, at any time, contact them, send them an email, and they're going to be happy to get back to you as soon as possible, because that's great customer service, right? Okay, so let's talk about why is customer service so important? And you can see it right here. Great customer service is the holy grail of business. Great customer service is the holy grail of business because, it has a lot of power to reveal some of the secrets in regards to success. Most companies that I've worked with, they've been very, very successful because people are utilizing and they're always reflecting on a number of great tips and strategies and skills that deal with customer service, okay? I'm not saying it's easy to always keep these things in mind, but again, this is something that's really going to move the company forward in so many ways. No matter how many customer service skills and assessments that we send out, much of the customer psyche will remain a mystery. And again, you know, there's a lot of good data that we're going to be talking about in terms of customer service and why some of these skills that I want to share with you are very, very important. So let's start with some of the top 10 customer service skills, plus we might throw in a couple of extra. So let's take a look at the first one. I think we can agree that persuasive speaking skills is something that, you know, really is of prime concern. This is one of the top customer service skills that you and I need to be thinking about all the time. And this is based on research, right? Think about the most persuasive speaker that you know, or person in sales or in teaching or in business. Think about somebody that's been, in your mind, the most persuasive speaker. I bet that that person might be in some type of sales role. Chances are pretty clear that it might be, right? And persuasion has been recognized as an important sales skill, teaching skill, business skill, but it can also be invaluable to customer service, obviously. Every day, you and I need to turn problems into solutions and fair weather customers into loyal brand evangelists, right? So very, very important to think about, you know, how we speak, how confident we are, the positive we come across, and certainly offering the kind of compelling things that are going to keep that person moving forward in regards to coming back to the business and moving forward with some of the great resources and services that you're providing. Okay, let's take a look at number 2, empathy. Oh, no list of good customer service skills is complete without empathy. As you know, empathy is the ability to understand another person's emotions and to understand their point of view. How is empathy an important customer service skill? Well, considering that 70% of people that, let's say, are buying something, it's based on how the customer feels that they are being treated. So it's not about whether the problem was resolved or you made the seal or if there was a refund or how much time was spent. At least it's not entirely or even mostly about those issues. It's about how people are able to empathize with others. Emotions are very, very important versus, let's say, things around facts, plain and simple. This is a very, very important skill. Not easy to master for sure, but something that you and I should certainly continue to develop. Let's take a look at some fun facts. I like some of these things. Look at this. And this is from customers, right? They feel that 33% efficiency. That's how most clients, internal and external individuals, think about how the customer service answered their questions or handled transactions quickly. 17% were identified as courteous. I mean, to me, that seems very, very low. 14% human. So they feel that only 14% of those individuals dealing in customer service really connected with that individual on personal level and shows empathy. So I think, again, this is something that's really, really important to be aware of. All right, number 3, adaptability. When you and I work directly with the public or with others, our days are never exactly the same, right? And of course, our customers, our internal customers, the people that we work with, people in different parts of the organization, and certainly external clients are not the same. It's interesting that 60% of customers change how they contact you depending on where they are and what they're doing. Okay, so you may have inquiries coming in via the phone, email, social media, and sometimes even in person, right? Sometimes all from the same customers. So it's interesting, right? So this is something that you and I have to be very, very mindful of and be able to be almost very flexible. And this obviously speaks to being very adaptable. Skill number 4, very, very important, the ability to use positive language, right? If a customer connects with you, chances are it's because they have a problem or an issue, they need some assistance, right? But despite the customer's anger, frustration, you and I in the customer service environment need to stay positive. It's okay to empathize with the customer. In fact, it's a key component of great customer service, as we talked about. but we have to keep upbeat as much as possible. Steer the conversation and the business at hand towards a positive outcome using positive language. Again, not saying this is easy. It's going to take a little bit of practice, but we want to focus on the solution. We want to thank those internal and external customers and associates for their patience, their understanding, and certainly their valued loyalty, which is very, very important. Okay, let's take a look at some more fun facts. So again, this is from a customer sort of perspective, right? 29% of customers feel that the customer service individual or the individual that they're working with, they feel that they deliver the promised value at the right price or whatever that might be. 22% feel that it's made easy to do business on and offline. So again, that's something that speaks volumes, right? You and I are doing a lot of things online, offline, but again, only 22% of customers feel that it's easy to do things, again, on and offline. 21% of customers feel that the customer service reps or the associates or individuals or professionals that were working with them really recognize them as an individual who deserve personalized service. So again, that's quite low. Look at this at the bottom. 9% feel that it's easy to find out information about the different products and services that the company that you work for actually are available. So that's very, very low. And of course, that probably signals that customer service needs a little bit of work, I think, right, in terms of certain skills. Let's go to number 5, clear communication skills. This might seem a little obvious, but you'd be surprised how many customers struggle to communicate with individuals that are providing that service. There's some research that suggests that about 33% of clients say that efficiently answering questions is the one most important skill that somebody involved in customer service can have. Mumbling, losing focus, or even using unclear language could be a source of many, many dissatisfied customer experiences. And I think you and I have all seen that too, right? So again, when you and I are providing great customer service, we want to be the most empathetic, professional, and positive person in the business. Very, very important as we move towards great, clear communication skills. Okay, let's take a look at number 6, self-control. You know what? It's funny too, when I think about self-control, I can sort of piggyback on a well-known truthism. Working in customer service is almost like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. It could be an irate customer one minute, a completely confused individual the next, or a perfectly patient customer who turns around and criticizes you for your company on Facebook or other social media platforms. So in a world where there's a single negative social media post about any company, it has a lot of impact on buyers' decisions or somebody that wants to associate themselves with that company. So again, that's a big deal. So we have to be in control when somebody is stressed and there's anxiety that's gleaming and so on. So again, with self-control, you and I are going to be able to remain calm even when we're attacked. We need to stay positive when faced with pessimism, and professional, of course, when a customer gets personal. Very, very important. All right, let's take a look at number 7, taking responsibility. Very, very crucial. Just because you and I can solve a customer's issue doesn't mean that they're going to stick around. It's about how you and I solve the issue is just as important as providing a solution. The key is to take care is to take responsibility and care for the customer's needs, right? So when you and I are involved providing great customer service, we need to make sure that we're really at hand, we're taking responsibility, and we're moving forward. Because again, it's think about different situations where you've been in, where somebody doesn't take responsibility. They pass on your call with a transfer, or they escalate it up to somebody else that maybe is more experienced. So again, you and I, yes, I understand that you and I can only do so much, but if we can demonstrate and show that we're going to take responsibility, we're going to take care of that person, boy, that's going to speak volumes with respect to your customer service skills for sure. Okay, let's take a look at some more fun facts. So I find this very, very interesting that 29% of customers state that their expectations were missed. 62% of customers felt that their expectations were met. Not so bad. That should be a lot higher in theory, but not so bad. Look at this. 5% of customers or clients felt that their expectations were exceeded. To me, I'm shocked. And this is based on some really interesting and late research that, again, you and I, when we're working with an associate, I could be somebody next door to where we are in our office. They sometimes come back and suggest that, you know, things were not exceeded and so on. So I think that that's something that's quite interesting. Let's take a look at skill number 8, patience. Oh boy, so true, right? When being shouted at, insulted, and rudely rushed, all is part of a normal day. It's almost like playing Russian roulette. Every time you pick up the phone or otherwise greet a customer, you never know what's going to happen, right? But keeping our cool is another critical skill that you and I need to think about. There was a study done at the University of Toronto not too long ago that takes a look at impatience, and they state that impatience makes doing hard things like talking down an irate customer even harder. It also impedes your enjoyment of life, and you think dealing with unhappy customers service or customers are really just a pain. Just wait until things become more relaxed. You want to breathe. You want to realize that this person's anger has little to do with you, but that you have a chance to turn their day and problem into something that's amazing and obviously positive. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. Oh, effective listening. So, so true, right? I feel it's safe to say that we could all do our jobs a little better with a little bit more training in this regard. And this goes for everybody that's dealing within a customer service type of role. And it's easy to start out by learning how to listen effectively. Listening skills are more about just then turning up the volume on a headset, right? It's about talking or taking the time to truly understand a customer's issue and then letting them know that you're paying attention, often simply by rephrasing or paraphrasing, restating the issue in your own words, and asking the customer if that sounds right to them really does give them a feeling that you are being attentive, you're listening, and you're going to be able to assist them. Speaking of attentiveness, here we go, number 10. According to, again, some research, okay, this is something that's least engaged. This is something that we don't do very well. We're not always attentive. And some of that is because we're so busy. We have so many other things to do. We've got a number of clients or customers behind that one that you're dealing with. So it's very, very difficult to stay focused and be attentive, right? But again, something that you and I need to be aware of, that if we can give them an opportunity for you and I to park our distractions and just focus on their specific needs, that's going to go a long way for sure. Okay, we talked about 10 skills, but you know what? There's a few more that I want to share with you. Let's talk about time management. Boy, we could all use a little bit more of it, couldn't we? Unfortunately, it's the most limited resource any of us have. So all we can do is effectively manage our schedules effectively. When you and I are interrupted, it's easy to be flustered or frustrated. It's tempting to let the phone ring a few extra times or an email to sit in the inbox a little longer, but doing so is not great customer service. In fact, it's almost bad news. This is interesting. 83% of customers that might be connecting with you online, as an example, or even if they come into your office, they will abandon even moving forward and take their business elsewhere if they haven't been assisted within 5 minutes. So again, we need to make sure that we put the customer, we don't want to put a customer actually on the back burner, even for a few minutes. It could cost our service, our business, the company, some very interesting things. So again, something to be aware of. At least if we can acknowledge them, just saying, sir or ma'am, I'll be with you in just a few minutes. Thanks for coming in. We'll be with you shortly. So in addition to time management, let's take a look at this one, knowledge. Speaking of having the right tools, right? One of these tools is basic knowledge of the services that you provide, the products, the business that you're working with. This is very, very important because without that as almost a foundation, it's very difficult to be successful. And it's hard to do our job appropriately, right? So again, we want to make sure that we're current. We've read up on all the policies, the specs, the this, the that. It's just only going to make your customer service and that customer much more beneficial in the big picture. The last skill that I want to talk about is the ability to admit when you and I don't have the answer. Customers today are very, very savvy. They often do a lot of research. They try to solve different issues on their own. They tell us that 39% of millennials, they go onto companies' websites, maybe their frequently asked questions page first to try to solve the issue or get some information. So quite often they're well equipped before they contact you and I, right? So the truth is, it could be embarrassing when you and I don't have the appropriate information, the answers and whatnot, and we could lose business or that service. So again, we want to make sure that that when you and I are in a situation where we don't have an answer, it's okay to say that, you know what, that's a great question. Let me put you on a brief hold and I want to get an answer so that we can assist you moving forward. And you just do that. I mean, it's okay. And customers appreciate that for sure. All right, so we've covered a lot of good stuff there, folks. What we want to do is talk about sort of next steps, because again, there's been lots of great content there that I hope that you've made some notes about. What I'm going to ask you to do now is maybe grab another scrap piece of paper, and we're going to talk a little bit about an action card. So what I'm going to ask you to do on your blank piece of paper is maybe at the top, we're going to divide this document up into 3 different sections, okay? The first little section off to the far left at the top, maybe we're going to identify it as start, okay? This is an action card, and we're going to have 3 major sections on this blank document. So we're going to have a start section. So if you could write that down, that would be great. In the middle of your document, we're going to have the stop section, okay? So if you could maybe, after the start section, you've got 8 or 9 lines. You're maybe about in the middle of your document, you've got a stop section, and down towards the bottom, you've got a continue section. And what I want you to do is this. Again, there's been quite a bit of content that we had a chance to discuss and share with you today. And I know that you've made some notes, which we certainly appreciate. So what I'm going to ask you to do is just put me on pause in a moment. And I want to give you a little bit of time to reflect on the content that we've covered today. We didn't talk about resumes. We didn't talk about interviews or networking or anything like this. We talked about some skills that you and I need to be constantly thinking about in our jobs moving forward. All these skills are so transferable, they can be used in any given scenario. If you're a manager, if you're in this capacity, if you're doing this, all these skills are very, very important. So what I want you to do for me is put me on pause, and I want you to write down 3 things that you're going to start doing today or maybe tomorrow in regards to investigating more about some of these skills, maybe coming up with some techniques to develop them, because you and I are not quite perfect yet, right? So again, we want to start to identify what are 3 things you're going to start doing in terms of thinking about the content that we've covered. So again, please think about the content that we've covered today, and what are 3 things you're going to start doing, again, in regards to reflecting on the material that we looked at today. What are 3 things you're going to stop doing? Maybe, we talked about being attentive, being an effective listener, and so on and so forth. Maybe there's some areas that need a little bit of massage or development. So maybe those are some things you're going to stop doing. Maybe it's related to some of the things you're going to start doing, right? So we want you to write down 3 things that you're going to stop doing in terms of some of the content. And then what are 3 things that you are doing very well right now? And you certainly want to continue in terms of customer service and some of those related skills. So please put me on pause, write down 3 things you're going to start, stop, and continue doing in regards to some of the skills dealing with customer service, and then put me on resume and we'll finish up. So go ahead, put me on pause there and go ahead and work on that little activity. Okay, so you know what? Going through a self-reflection activity covering all 3 of those areas are very, very important to do on a regular basis. Sure, we just did it regarding some of the content that we covered today. But again, it's something that, you know, if you're working on resumes, you're working on interviews or whatever, again, think of some things that you want to take action and move with. So again, this is a tool that can be used and applied in so many different areas. All right, so we're moving towards conclusion, folks. And I just want to say thank you very much for joining me today in regards to talking a little bit about some customer service skills that relate to every job that I can think of. So you're going to receive a feedback form, or even a link actually, that you can click on. It's only going to take you 30 seconds to complete. We just wanted to get a little bit of feedback from you about today's session, but we also wanted to get some information in regards to, again, what are some other sessions or topics that you would like to hear more about? We'd be happy to consider that and put something together. I mean, it's very, very important for us to make sure that we're supporting you in every way possible. As part of that, we want you to stay connected with your professional that you're working with right now at Next Steps Employment Centers. And again, you may want to connect with them this week if you haven't done so already, to catch them up, to give them an idea of what you've been doing. You're talking about attending some of these online sessions, either the live webinars or some of the other offerings that that you've had a chance to take advantage of. They would love to hear how things are going for you. And part of that discussion, they're going to be able to give you some other ideas and some other suggestions based on where you're at, where you want to go, and so on and so forth. So please stay in contact with us. And again, we just want to say thank you for attending today. You've been a terrific group, and I'm glad that you got some information. And of course, you want to stay connected with us on a number of our social platforms for sure. So of course, we're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Oh, we're all over. So I mean, stay in touch. We'd love to have you join us for other sessions as we move forward. So we're happy to stay in touch. All the best. Take care now. Bye-bye.